turtle. Tell us about the turtles and how life is being a turtle. Silence and dancing seems to be the answer to that old question of what the turtle goes through.
When you don't see the turtle moving slow, it's usually moving pretty fast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtle, a mutant turtle, ninja turtle, not mutant. Where do you stand on the whole thing?
I am the mutation that X-Men's not talking about.
Yeah, they don't got shit on that. Like, they're not sharing anything.
No, not at all.
I love fire salamanders. So beautiful. I want to do a lot of commerce with you, buddy. We're gonna... Chris, what do you read from this bird while I'm filming? Look, it's closer. It's really close to you. It's right in front of you. Look, right in front.
Oh, wow.
It likes music.
If it was high tide, we couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Bloody forced.
Probably high tide that it wasn't high tide.
Woo! Who goes there? Is that Sean Bond? Why are you here, Sean? You better not record a show. You must give me the password.
So we found this guy here. It says he's the all-knowing Sphinx of the island. And we're deciding to adopt him and take him home. Befriend the wild man. Here he is. In his natural habitat. Between these two trees. Not even acknowledging us or anything we're saying. Look at him. Isn't he majestic? Swoop. Look at him descend gracefully. Truly majestic. It's really good moss. This is the best shit you can get. It's magic. You better believe it. He has learned our ways. Is now civilized. No!
Is that? What are you doing? You're giving him fire. Ah.
Here's all the birds.
Look at the bird. Oh wow. Look at that. Wow, very cool. One up. Yeah, that just makes you grow if you eat them. They're aphrodisiac. What is that noise? Is that a bird?
Yeah, quaw, quaw, quaw. The shroom way.
Yeah, this is 1, 2, 3. So, do you want to go to the part we crossed?
How do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
Dude, point me in a direction now. What? Oh, there's some cool mushrooms here too. You going the right way? You don't know? Okay.
You're definitely headed in the right direction.
Just send them over, whatever. Somebody's been drinking.
Oh my goodness.
Who did that? Some natives getting drunk on the local brew. Oh, sweet. Probably not. Watch. I'm going for you.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
That's not what your mother said.
Oh my God.
Okay. You're good? You want me to have the camera?
If I hand you the camera.
Thank you. Well, slippery.
I'll tell you that 2x4 is just the right size.
Ooh, look at this mushroom.
So we want to get back up that way?
Yeah.
To the left?
Straight ahead of us, but I mean, I think there's a path that way. I'm not sure. This is all pointy thorns.
I wonder if we have to maybe cut a left to Sean. Like Sean.
Yeah, where do you want to go? This way?
I think that way and then to the right. I think back this way. He's got to be careful the way he swings that machete. If you're like within so many feet, you could lose a limb.
Yeah, be careful of your feet. Around me. There's a lot of thorns.
Oh, there's thorns here too?
It's okay. Did you say they're tasty? What? Yeah, they're kind of tasty.
Careful on the backlash. I'm right behind you.
Yeah, y'all are going the right way. It should be ahead of you.
Yep, got up there.
Sean, I think we want to go up this way, right?
Yeah, but there's a path already here.
Okay.
The rock is thick. There he is. We found him. All this time. We united. Once again. And it feels so good. Yeah. It feels so good.
Look at my feet, dude. I was walking on the tree and it just like crumbled underneath. I just survived on the fall. Please get up there.
It does look like a rock wall, doesn't it? Like, why would somebody build a rock wall right here, right? That's clue number one.
But then we subscribe to the philosophy. Fuck it.
Yeah, that's the little spot of the algae.
We made it. Now where is the sacred tree? The biggest tree is right here. Looks like it.
Tied too.
Oh yeah, and surrounded by water, so there's no way it could be borne by forest fire. It's the oldest tree?
This is all one tree.
Yes. The grandmother tree of the island.
You see that little bird over there?
Oh yeah, there they all take off.
Well, there's one sitting right there. Near the end of the water.
Thank you for viewing in.
The heron in the distance?
He sent here, or she, whatever, is and viewing you out of when animals go out of their normal habit pattern. You can definitely tell there's like higher self-influence, bunch of stuff looking through, ancestors of the land. We made it. We got through. We're in the fucking wilderness. No. And yeah, we're enjoying nature, where it's lovely, beautiful, and everything's nice and energetic as we open the surrounding ley lines and interact with beautiful wildlife, such as the birds and the fish, and whatever's whistling. This guy. So we're going to talk about some big things, such as what is it like in the perception of everything around us in nature, in non-nature, facade, natural, organic, is a light construct that emanates from its source in the seed of every plant and egg of every wildlife, etc., coming into being and continuing in a timeline of light that fractals and can split self infinitely and create a multiplayer construct of shared realities in a blanket of reality rules and agreed ancestry and history and what the game is trying to accomplish, each moment to moment, the second manifestation, and what it really means in the now to be here. So, what do you guys come have flowing to you in perception of this sacred place that we're in? Enjoying the air, enjoying the breath of life, the greenery, the reflection, the sound, the orchestra of songs, song lines, the touch of the ground, the linking to Earth's heart, the magical moss, and the train training us how to be patient. Yeah. What do you guys have coming to you?
Hey. I mean, what's coming to me now is the same thing that we talked about in talks. How all these different things about life, about your life, all this understanding is gained through observing nature. So like, you were brought up a hologram. You brought up the hologram, or the world we're interacting with and exchanging energy with. We can learn about a hologram from a seed. And a seed being planted in Earth, where it remains in the feminine kind of form in a womb of the Earth. It's underground, not getting the direct sunlight, direct manifestation of sunlight onto it, but it's still gaining from the sunlight, and it's still getting sustenance from the light shining on the soil that it's in. At one point, that seed is going to send out a manifestation, and it won't just be in the womb, it's actually coming out of the womb, and that sprout will come up, and it'll do its journey from a closed shell seed to being to the point where it's ready to have enough energy to shoot out that first sprout. And that first sprout goes up, and then there's a point where it'll break through the soil and it'll get direct sunlight and interact with the shared reality rules, such as trains going by. It's getting that vibration. It'll be able to experience that vibration when it's above the soil. It'll be able to feel the wind. It'll be able to be a part of the shared reality rules of what's actually here in light perception of an actual manifested thing that we can go and look at with our eyes. We manifested this I am within the skin suit technology that we co-created. So just as the seed sprouts the first sprout that comes up and then creates the first leaves, all this is so that it can continue to flourish with life. It's going to need to create those leaves, because the leaves, in their blueprint, they're the things that suck up the sunlight, and they set up, the seed already has it in its blueprint, that it has already a setup that it follows. It has a way that it has photosynthesis. It does something to the light. It does photosynthesis, or it synthesizes that light, and then spreads it out into all of its internal fluids, just like the human. Because we were bringing up the seed because it's learning about our own experience. We can relate all of these different highest density vibrational teachings that are very advanced things from watching a seed grow, from watching a mother bear nurse its cubs, or watching anything at all. Nature's always saying, hey, look, I'm showing you something. But are we really in our natural state able to listen, or are we in some sort of other created overlay that we're giving a lot of our energy to, rather than the underneath the, the overlay that we're having of our thoughts? There's a ground where everything's taking place in. So if we go into it in a natural way of just experiencing, not being cared of the polarity of I believe this and I believe in that, there's an opposite here and there, blah, blah, blah. If you can tune into the underline, the ground, naturally you're always getting these teachings. The wind blowing on your cheek, the feelings that your different bodies are having. There's an observance you can do so that you can at least get into the playing field of learning the new lesson from nature. Getting out of your own way is like a first step in order to receive. Because if you're always, I got to give this perception on it, I got to give this to that. Oh, I'm experiencing this will help me a lot, I'm going to give myself to it, That's what the experience is for, but not if you're always doing that, always growing, but not processing. The nature shows us that the seed, it is always growing, even when it's a plant, but it's still got to process the photosynthesis throughout the day. If it doesn't get that direct sunlight every day, the whole growth is not, it is stunted. And the bees come. Can we experience? Are we here for this experience?
Well said. As I see into the perception of all the senses that I have and what matches up, what describes for the purpose of the main experience of this body in DNA technology, all light reflects in omnidirectional 360, all directions, coming to you in wave function, photonic, passing through mediums to bounce off of your perception in light, perceivability. So each of those light photons coming to you in every direction holds a line of information in directional compass to you of what that brings as you can tune into it as an operating system to unite with everything in your reality, in union, communion, free will, mutual beneficial awareness of all the consciousness, creators, co-creators of the environment that you're in, so that everything syncs up and is working in one and not harming one another for the benefit of the all, as it becomes aware of the greater perception of who each of us are and what we're going through and what we can do for each other that benefits each lineage of technology, such as the grass, the water, the trees, the moss, the animals that come in and migrate and bring their wisdom of what they have seen, what they have been a part of, their song lines that carry information that changes our DNA, that is open to us if we allow it. Oh yeah, more coming. And breathing their wisdom. There are endless things that we can unfold in the reading of each story, and detaching from the story, but knowing the wisdom of the story once read, seen, how much of this reality is stories, and editing can fall in the hand of the story writer in the perspective. Seeing what holographic light emanation that continues on in information and data and syncing up from moment to moment experiential time, and what is passed down and what is unneeded as you're coming into your own hologram and emanating your own fractal light, not needing to draw upon the light of others, but understand what is there for in union, and what the authority of yours is as you spread your light through existence. But don't let, and learning how to keep it from being stolen by others, but to ignite the light within others so that everyone can grow in sovereignty and ability to hold themselves in this reality, to be able to maintain themselves and their future generations into the future, and carry on that experience and evolve in natural wisdom with everything, so that it benefits more and more and more and more and more of the reality and the experience and the growing collectives of what we can achieve, what we can have here and experience, what we can seek into when we share our experiences with others and have experience come to us in many different forms and perceptions as we open ourselves up and heal our ability to have that as a part of us. Want to say anything, Chris?
Yeah, I think I'll say that very interesting what you're talking about, Sean, about hologram, about dreams. I know last night, well, to give everyone a point of reference, today is August 4th. We're less than 4 days away from the Lion's Gate. Around July 13th of 2018, there was some unique energies that many have been feeling on the planet. And we'll call these dragon types of energies, as our solar system was passing through a very dense part of the galaxy, where these energies are coming from the central sun. So a lot of people have been enjoying that and having mystical experiences, etc. So, talking about the hologram, last night we looked up and we saw Mars. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And Mars was really bright in the sky, and you could see it as, there's no mistaking, it was definitely Mars. It was orange. But that wasn't really Mars, was it, Sean? Can you explain what we actually are perceiving in this dream within a dream, or hologram within a hologram? I know I'm oversimplifying it by just saying that, because there's many more levels and intricacies, but just the whole concept of basically hologram within a hologram and how that relates to dreams, etc. I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
Well, based on what we found out, is that there are real stars and real planets behind what we see in the sky of eminent light. A lot of it will either be right behind the body of light that we see, so we are tuning into another source of light eminence as we're choosing to download the perception. So when you want to psychically go into interacting in commerce and back and forth psychic communication network, working as a celestial oracle, transferring lots of data information, you're more or less tracking where it is back in time space, light eminence, behind what we'll perceive in the midnight sky, the night sky, which will have a little indication on where they would be normally, especially for the planetary bodies that are here. It's like syncs up, and the stars may not be in the same position though. When we look up, one of the hard things to believe about this reality, but if you don't want to believe it, fine, I don't care. So it doesn't matter. Our stars, essentially, there's a likelihood that they're projecting a different state of location in the galaxy than where we really are, for various reasons of attracting spirits here to this planet. Do you guys want to tune into what you remember about that topic, which was also related?
Yeah, I just, Ryan, I know you have things to say, but
Galactic history.
Before you started, I just wanted to say, yeah, like we need to talk about that, and maybe whoever speaks next could talk about what are we in right now? Why are we within a hologram within a hologram? You know, what is this experience that we're having? Why are we here?
Control the waking up process, control what we perceive in amnesia so that we don't trickle out of the timeline that is made a predictive model for us.
Does this world have a name, or this hologram? Are all these holograms we can experience down here?
It's layered holograms of every perceiver, every point of consciousness in the environment, and how they've expanded their hologram even in the unseen worlds and traveling, and sometimes to the solar system level where their consciousness is able to be anchored here and have parts of it interacting with other planets in the solar system, or if it has a mechanism set up outside the hologram and interacting with outside this hologram's interactivity in the rest of the galaxy, and the holograms of the galaxy and the micro and macro expressions of this universe, and more organic, more non-hijacked holograms that are layered macrocosmically to hold space for other lights, eminent expressions of consciousness coming into being, and their trees of existence, however far they go back, in old spirits that are making more of themselves.
So does this machine have a name?
Just like what it means, like, because it's a translation. What would it mean in English, in description, that's able to formulate over? People have called it a bunch of stuff. Do you know about that?
What?
Yeah.
About the name?
The machine.
I don't. Yeah. Depends. Oh, the machine.
The machine is a live, and it's a current thing that it also exists in the ever-present now. The machine could be seen as an aspect of us, but you can do that. You can relate that to anything. That's why mastery of self is so important for all aspects of your life. Your relationship with your life. Your names you put. What's in a name? There's an N, A, and then me. See that? I could see that name as an enemy, or I could see it as something that's in me, that's in myself. Either way, we're playing with words. But earlier I was just, you mentioned the hologram and the dream. I just wanted to kind of go off on a perception of right now that I have. Like the hologram in this thing I'm sharing right now, the hologram could be seen as a video game. You're there and the dream is you there going to the console, turning it on. You know, you got your controller. That's you. That's the dreamer who's interacting with the hologram of the console's in. You know, you're playing that game. You're playing that hologram. So a lot of things can be said with that analogy, but you're also in a hologram of the whole setup of where the console is, you know. But you're inside the hologram playing the game, and let's say you're putting a lot of yourself into it. So you're actively participating in this hologram that you know is a hologram, because it's something called a video game, and you've had experiences with that. But also, if you relate that, what if you're in the video game when you're walking to the game system? I mean, in a way, you're experiencing a hologram, which is the set in the setting that you're going into something. So that would be a small bubble of hologram, which is, you know, Halo or Mario Kart. That's a small, you know, that's another reality bubble, which is has its own hologram, meaning a hologram is how light interacts. It's like a light matrix interaction, where it's interacting on all these different levels, kind of like a web. And there's certain rules to each hologram, or certain things to each hologram. I guess you'd say rules. There's different reality rules to each one. But you see and you know willingly that you're going into playing on a hologram that's totally made in this computer world when you're going to the kit console. But you can see, whoa, maybe there's a question that comes up. Am I in a hologram here, walking up to the video game console? I mean, I see everything, and everything I see is light. I see that there's rules to this. I mean, like when I walk, I usually have to put 1 foot forward and then do some sort of weight, you know, move my weight in certain ways where I have a momentum to do a next step, next step, next step. You can see that as interacting with the hologram. When you were a child, you had a whole different hologram. It was the same world as other people around you, or you that came back at 17 years old or 80 years old. It's the same world, so we say, but just at a different now moment. So in order for a hologram to react, it has to have some sort of anchor in the now, and the anchors would be the beings, us. We would be anchoring any hologram. A hologram has no validity or no hold within the world or the dream world if there's no such thing to give it that anchoring energy or some sort of energy exchange so it has some sort of relevance. We carry around many overlays. The whole machine that we're dealing with would be the Uniworld. That would be a good name, because that's really the place where all of the overlays, all the perceptions of the people who's here, you know, all the holograms, all the video games, all the different people's, what they're bringing to the table is coming to the Uniworld. And what someone brings in their own heart, their truth that they see about the life, is totally true. And if you want to interact in this hologram and not create, you know, kicking yourself in the face or, you know, getting karma to backhand you, then you're going to not step on the heart truth that someone's bringing. Because everything is true that someone believes. It's true for them. So we come here, and we come here with our own circuitry, our own synapses firing of pulling from this certain space. We could say that this machine exists because of this earth, or this sentience in this planet, and the actual planet here. That's the grounds, and why there's even a space for that hologram. And why there would be rules, and why we'd be able to have this opportunity to really incarnate into this type of planet with this type of skin suit, where we can really do anything.
And we're back. Yeah, overheating phone, yay. So, the hologram uniting the collective of your environmental collective consciousness of your hologram, seeing what's interacting with your hologram already, and making peace with everything in and out of your body, external, auric field, hologram, multidimensional selves, macrocosmic, extended self. What you're interacting with and coming to peace. Big part of the reality, and taking back your own internal hologram is also deeper and deeper parts of your own hologram of what you're allowed to access, because not everyone's allowed to go deep until they've created the process so that it doesn't just overwhelm them. Disconnecting, disentangling, detaching from the worldly aspects of the environment, not needing to just go away from an entire existence. You can do it energetically, and what is natural and heart-based love, if you get it to a perfect equation, will come back automatically in your reality. And if you need to disentangle from people that are parasitic and keep coming back in your reality, that will need to go deeper, and even sometimes need physical action to get you to that level, depending on how deeply connected to you they are. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, some people feel frightened to go deep, because one time when they're a child, they have a deep experience or some sort of psychic, what would be called a psychic experience, where they're speaking to guides or seeing this or that, and and then their parents just go, "No, that's not real. No, you're making it up. It's not real." And and they'll create some sort of barrier so that they will turn off whenever stuff is leading into a mystical experience or a deep, experience. And then there's the other spectrum of that, where some people have had a deep experience and it changed their life, and they had super mystical experiences, and they were so happy and joyful, and it was great. And then in order to go day by day, they have to be deep in everything, and there's not a knob to turn that down. So maybe they're not facing some sort of thing inside of them that may be depression or something that they really should look into in themselves, because you deserve all of your awareness to look into all of you, because you deserve all of the love that you could ever give. You're the one giving it. So some people will need deep experiences to feel validated experiences. They'll need it deep because they've seen it. They've had the most amazing experiences, and everything else is dulled. But really, if it was that amazing, you would be able to transmute it into nothing is dull. I mean, look at this experience I just had. Seriously, that's proof that maybe the dull experiences have all this potential, and it's my force of transmutation of my love that I give, to the experience that makes it deep. So everything's potentially a deep experience.
Yes, deep. That was deep. So the technology of deepness is grand. You could perceive any part of your body, reality, organs in like your effect on the world around you in deepness, and the layers of going deeper into the self. Hypnagogic state, trance, being able to program your body more easily. Your reality bubble, being able to access memory, deep feelings. Feeling the reality so deep is something so many people have experience with, as well as sometimes overwhelm as a setting in their reality of how deep they feel the reality, whether it be positive or negative, and be able to turn down feeling their reality so deeply at an empathic or emotional body level where it overwhelms them and they have to go inside and shut down because they feel the trauma or the negativity or the trash, and also their ability to train their mind and body so that it works well as they perceive it could work in the reality, come against adversity. To feel deeply in the reality, to ability to absorb negative energy, which you don't need to have. Consequently, it's something that's turned up in a lot of empaths, and that's not good. Sometimes you don't even need empathic ability, but there's a training course in when you turn off your empathic ability, you still retain parts of the knowledge and wisdom so that you can carry the wisdom of what an empath brings to your table.
The true meaning of it, not to be overwhelmed.
Not to be a dick.
Aware of the energies.
You can't be a dick when you're empathic. You understand everyone. You forgive everyone.
Well, some people can. And some people do have that whack-a-mole scenario where they're sticking their head out of the ground into a new experience and being like, whoa, I really don't know anything. And then, the power figure, knocks them down. No, don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. Don't ever do that. So later, when experiences come that the potential for deepness is there, they'll, poke out and then start saying, well, I actually don't know anything. Maybe I can get up. Oh, wait, I remember I was going to get smacked, so I got to go back down. But that also means don't be deep when you don't need to be deep. Because that doesn't mean go into TV watching and needing to go super deep into it. Because you can, everything's a fractal, it contains the universe, you can, but your mind, your body, everything can't be overwhelmed at all times. Otherwise, that problem of the empathic person who's overwhelmed will begin to create that with their need to go in deep whenever they need a shallow experience. They need to just touch the top of the water. Fly over the top of the water in this experience. I don't want to feel this thing. I'm going to just glide right by above and unentangle myself. Those are all important things that someone should master if you're empathetic, if you're not. if you have a sympathetic and parasympathetic part of your body, which the humans we're speaking to do, and everyone does.
And when it creeps up when you're an empath, as you've taken on more responsibility and interacted with more as a healer, then sometimes the empathic abilities go from the state of level where they're teaching you how to feel into the emotions and what you're positively wanting to interact with, and then it starts perceiving in a greater rate the negative, which isn't as teaching as it some things could be. It can be torturous. So your ability to remember that you are in control of your control panel, and you can learn to switch the knobs to turn it up and down intensity, different settings that you can make manifest in that neuro-linguistic programming, and to the eventual level where you gain the wisdom you seek in it, and it is no longer serving you, but you are a emotional understanding of the emotions of other beings, able to tell ways to make a timeline better because there's great wisdom with it. And then you can even turn the empathic ability off, not saying you're not going to be in psychology wise not we're empathic to others, which is a good thing, which is part of being human. Turning it off from ever creating a bad experience, and the need to feel everything or automatically connect to others' emotions, because that can be bad, especially if the reality rules of how your empathic ability tunes into them. It can prevent you from going different places, prevent you from being resilient, it can prevent you from going outside, interacting with humans. It's not always a good thing. You become a hermit.
Mm-hmm. And when you go through the experiences that are negative, and they're so negative that your control panels are fucked. Let's say it's so negative, someone spiritually goes and pours their coffee all over your control panel or something that can make it to where you're out of your element automatically, because what you'd use to experience is interfered with. That's when you still have to have the due diligence to realize it wasn't about the controls being the controller. There was a person behind the controls doing, free willing it, not even controlling it, straight up free willing it. So what can I do now? I'm in the worst situation, a ghost or a demon or, any sort of being has totally screwed up all my systems. So what do I do now? What do I do now? And then there's already an answer there, because the answer will be this being here, and then fill in the blank. But just knowing that you are the free will, the 100% free will, you can transmute through each heartbeat that you have, and it reminds you of the Earth Mother that you're on. So you're already at the control panel, just being here as a natural born being on Earth. You're at the control panel for this experience. So are you going to be the master of yourself and allow yourself to transmute what no longer serves, or create something else? It's up to you.
Well said. So, reclaiming the hologram, disentangling from the holograms of others, the environmental rules, the parents, not like disconnecting heart space and other, but like deeper levels of they have their own reality. Most people are set to automatically project their reality on other people and have like rules engaged, even if the rules aren't totally under their control, and they're passing down something that isn't easily read all in a second by somebody that's getting it downloaded in seconds through this interaction. So environmental stuff, you got to deal with that. Reality bubble around you, everything that's interacted with that. What's in your body now, elementals, things that made up your composite, your body, nutrition that you have coming into becoming you, that timeline of those existences, where they've been, where they were farmed, lineages, if it's animals or plants, and their environmental factors. Your lineage of your DNA, every ancestor connected to you, their holograms and how they're projecting forward, some chess moves, reality rules, and auditing all that so that it's disentangled from, but learned from, so that it can be positively interacted in commerce. Oh, you have this reality rule where you want to keeps something going to the next generations, I can totally pass that on without entangling with you. Not having, the goal is disentanglement from other holograms so that you have your own hologram of light and you're able to create the rules around you at a greater pace, like not in imprinting but in union, communion, forced evolutionary path, natural, organic, flowing, everyone's opinion, everyone's say, everyone comes together in the round table of what goes forward in the moment-to-moment timeline. Wounds in the person's timeline, backdoors that are bringing in a hologram imprint from the beings involved that allowed the synchronicity and why it exists or needs to exist, or whatever, this trip that prevents the car crash an hour later. The thing, or if it's a entirely negative incursion that didn't need to happen, then like giving you the answer that, hey, there's something wrong, I need to become aware of this, I need to out-create it and create my own rules, disentangled from all those different things. Past lives, imprinted versions of yourself, backwards and forwards in time beings that know photonic light, the reality hologram of the Earth hologram, main thing, saddles put over, the whole Andrew Bartzis with the galactic ascension machine thing with the solar system and the moon, projecting a game of karmic resolution that encompasses all layers of holograms of every being within it, co-creating micro and macro for different forms of life and interaction and purpose. And some being really negative holograms that are trying to imprint domination and control on others and get their hologram moving forward and infecting others that don't fully have free will choice in their hologram. And the goal of wanting to really get that up there and what you're able to do, what you're able to accomplish in whatever your theme for being here is, hopefully positive. How do you like, what do you got as thinking?
I have a question for you, Sean.
Yeah.
Just to confirm, so there is a way that we can keep others' holograms, projections, from imprinting and projecting onto ours.
Yes, and it goes deep. So deepness to your hologram, understanding, like when you're reclaiming more and more and more, you're allowed to reclaim what you're allowed to know about what you can handle, especially if something is force entangling with your hologram and it takes a lot of effort to get rid of it through like ceremonies, rituals, intention, belief, magic, music, healing, meditation, journeying, achievement, effort, kinetic force, things part of the equation, will, that drive force your belief system engine machine with your DNA technology amplifying of who you are and what your existence is meaning, and all the different things that went into its creation, such as every ancestor you're being and every moment in time that synced up perfectly to have you born in this reality and existence that has such a future expanded purpose in many different layers of the reason it exists.
So if someone was wanting to think, what exactly do I need to start to do to start untangling myself? Are there like the top two things you could do as far as advice to give others to be like to start the process? I know you've spoken about some of the things just now. I just want you to do like a recap.
Okay. So training, feeling, sensing technologies, biofeedback to figure out how to see what the diagnostic report of your current moment-to-moment moving forward hologram is, and spiritual cord of equity held by your ancestors, DNA relations, spiritual entourage, beings that are working with you positively, your higher self, source in your being, Earth Mother, you know, beings to work with, to disentangle your hologram from those. First, you want to get rid of the aggressive ones, the parasitic ones, the ones stealing your ability to disconnect more from holograms, that's trying to get you to constantly connect with it as like a need to feed off you or create rules in your reality moving forward, an agenda. Audits how they're getting into your reality bubble, how they're entering and exiting wounds of like in your timeline body reality bubble for your hologram layers, and go back in time or whatever you need to do in healing to disconnect from that story, that agreement, to have that continue to keep going so that it doesn't continue in your moment-to-moment hologram of light. And you're agreeing to something else because you're the editor.
You were the editor of your hologram.
Yeah, so like wounds, things that constantly want to reconnect to you, negative beings, haunted environments, traumas, birth, where they'd steal your energy, authority, something to continue that hologram based on all the different layers of your hologram, auditing so there's nothing stealing your authority. You're in union, communion, you're the ones that are in competition with you and want only thing but war. You don't have to be connected to. Figure out what authority they have to even know where you exist, to be able to track you, to get past your camouflage, to get past the perception of remote viewing you from a distance, to not being in your reality at all, or even able to show up, and going even farther back to like the time before they knew about you, because there's moments in time that they didn't know about you, and you can go back before and make it so they never become aware of you, but the wound needing to circle around to let you become aware of that so that you can heal it. And then going deeper. I'm not even done going deep in mine. The reality set to teach you about this stuff and going deeper and it unfolding more and more with each layer that you resolve, and disconnecting from the holograms of others so that your hologram is the eminent frequency, because it is doing the work of the man's place responsibility. The reason you can audit the reasons that others need to be in your hologram, and if they actually need to be, or if and like why they need to be, and see if you can do commerce to like, oh, I want to have holding up the man's place of responsibility for this place. Can I do commerce where I have that alone, and like where they're not disagreeing with that? If they disagree with that, and there's like reasons for that. If you were claiming sacred space like your dream space, your 9 feet around your body, your auric field, shielding layers that you create. There's a lot. So, and it goes deep. So the more you tune into going out into nature, how the hologram works, how that can become empowered in for whatever purpose of spreading the word of reclaiming sovereignty. Anything you guys want to say?
So you're asking what are the top 2 things to, what'd you say?
Yeah, for someone that wants to start unentangling from others' holograms, here's the top 2 things that they could do to start that process.
So the number 1 thing is realize you're simultaneously existing at many different levels. You're multidimensional. So the first thing is a part of you which was unentangled, that came in to have an entangled experience of, I want to be born in a body. I'm an I am. That entangles me in this reality, this hologram reality voice. This unentangled being that decided to do that, or whatever, however you want to see it. There's a being of you that is unentangled at all times. And it doesn't matter if this being here, which is simultaneously existing at the same time, if this being chooses to entangle to this, I want to have this situation, even if it's karmic, I want to do it, I want to learn, blah, blah, blah. There's still this being here that stayed, he never went down, he never entangled. This is like spirit, and nothing touches spirit. This is like the being who is the infinite being. Infinite is unentangled. I mean, it's not bound if it's infinite. So the part of you that has these soul contracts of having a mother, father, grocery store clerk that I go to regularly, or this coffee shop I go to, that's the entangled being who has the problem with untangling. Because that's the simultaneously existing part of you that's here that actually believes it's entangled. Truth is, though, while you're believing that you're entangled, there's that other part of you that never entangles. So this part of you is like, yeah, that's true. I'm not going to entangle in that. I mean, yeah, that's true. It sees the truth in it all. It's simultaneously existing. So what you are is not just this, not just this. It's not just the body or the person listening or speaking right now. And it's not the infinite spirit who doesn't entangle with anything. It's both and more. So the first thing someone needs to do with unentangling from somebody's shared reality rules is put it into words with this entangled being in the I am presence. Put it into words saying, I'm still the unentangled being, and right now I redact any assumed consent. I redact that. I revoke all assumed consent. I revoke all tacit consent given to you. This is proof as the entangled I am being, sharing the unentangled wisdom of how I operate when I'm entangled. I'm really not this being going through the problem of having you entangle with me. I'm actually this being too, who gives me the power to know you're not entangled with me. And then once you enforce that, you could record yourself speaking something like that and listen to it later. You're just enforcing it more in your entangled reality, where your entangled reality moves with such wisdom of this unentangled knowing that it's not going to entangle. It's not going to have a problem with somebody entangling with you. They don't even get near your pheromones because you have that skunk pheromone already of, bitch, I know I don't entangle. I know I'm simultaneously existing unentangled too. So if I entangle, it's really for my greatest choice to do so. So your problems, I'm going to revoke you and bring you to zero and see why there were problems if I need. Either way, I'm unentangled too.
All said. All said. How many layers does it go deep? Infinite. I don't know. I'm still going. So we'll be continued infinitely and beyond. But each layer going deep, at least for every perceiver part of the consciousness in there. Not everyone is perfectly good at disentangling. They're at different levels. I don't even know if there is a way to... I know there's beings that have successfully gotten to a point where they have achieved enough disentanglement to where it actually makes a dramatic manifest in reality.
Like the beings who are the masters who go up to the mountains and live there forever. But we get the gift to actually come into the cities and do that shit. And be still not entangled. And if something's going on, we still have the shamanic knowing of the higher wisdom. And the hardest thing is why people get entangled with someone else's projection of reality onto them is because every word that we're saying right now is really being dreamed by you, the listener, being dreamed by each three of us, because we're all taking it in our own ways, because we're either seeing it with the heart, we're seeing it with the mind, we're taking it as just the vibration. My ear feels a different way than my heart feels about it. Either way, all of these are dreamers, just like the person listening now online. You are dreaming me, and I'm dreaming you, and we're both creating, just because naturally we create a hologram because we want to be light that experiences light. So we got to have a matrix and it gets even closer and closer to your face, and it's like, I'm entangled with you.
What
I'm
are you gonna do
entangled.
about it?
Oh, look. What am I talking about? I chose active application of shutting these eyelids to go into meditation when I need. Or, you know, I can do anything. But I am just trying to share that unentangled, simultaneously existing you. That's the one who dreams. Dreams not with thwarted dreams, dreams with free will. Really, we dreamt all this in the infinite, you know, universal womb. Each of these wombs that this, you know, I was born in my mom's womb, but my past lives had a different womb. All that has its own higher self or oversoul, and we all have a universal womb too. That's who we talk to when we're dealing with the unentangled being, wisdom. We talk to everyone's highest, you know, unentangled self and entangled self, because these are the people entangling with me. And we go like a comb.
Chris, you got anything you want to say?
Oh, I have a really deep question now. So, we're talking about the holograms of people. However,
Go ahead.
oops, into the marsh. What about the holograms of animals?
Yes.
Horses, dogs. Let's say we have a dog. Are they projecting their hologram of their reality upon us, or is what is coming into our reality just humans? There's a question.
They are projecting many different layers at us in a positive way. It's very clear and clean, most of it anyway. But every species has their drama and their wounds and shadow and what they're dealing with. So it's still part of the commerce, and especially with why they're choosing to sync up, why we're all choosing to sync up in commerce and interaction with each other, because some of us are good at different things and we're puzzle completers for each other. Like the birds are good at something, the fish that they eat are good at something, and why they're all agreeing to the food chain and experiencing each other and continuing that commerce so that they can go forward in reality, completing each other in what they have chose to become good at and create, and their abilities and what they do for the land just by being there.
I think my dog.
Breatharian dogs, are there any out there? As we mentally trek through the woods to get home, please like, yes, please share, like, and subscribe, comment your questions. For more content, as more popularity comes, we'll do more of this stuff. Thank you very much. Love you all.